Hello, patrons. Oh, I think I need to, sorry. I just realized I need to turn up my sound. Okay. So I tried to go live on my computer and YouTube's like, oh, you need all this new software all of a sudden to do it. And I was like, oh my God, no, Mercury retrograde, this is not the time. So I am doing this way. I'm gonna go through a quick run through of the sign by sign lessons for Sun and Cancer. But I'm mostly gonna focus on July ahead because, oh my gosh, craziness. Here's our July list ahead, including 2 eclipses and several retrogrades. So we start tomorrow with Mars moving into Leo. Now I think this is definitely a bright spot. I'm going to show you one of my cards that I have right now. I have the Patience card, and I think that's going to be necessary. Leo is a fire sign, and we do have so much water energy going on. We do have these retrogrades going on. We're throwing 2 more within this next week. So patience is definitely going to be key with Mars in Leo. I would say, again, taking action from the heart, taking action for fun from that place of the inner child is going to be kind of an elixir to some of the deep depths and wateriness that is going on with, again, all this water energy. So Mars in Leo. Now, it always takes a little bit for Mars to get started. So Mars as of tomorrow and Mars as of the eclipse is still going to be in that offline energy. So if you're expecting to feel that heart surge, it may take a few days after that, but again, I feel like that's going to be so supportive to us to have that in the background of all that eclipse energy, because Mars in Leo will be with us. Mars in Leo will be with us through that eclipse corridor, which is sometimes more intense than the eclipse itself. So key is inner child, fun, action, fun, action. What are things that are fun for you? And I know sometimes as adults that gets put off to the side, but it's so important in bringing about balance. And just be aware of those impatience and frustrations that may come up, especially once we hit that Mercury retrograde. Although it's seemingly right now the shadow is definitely doing that work for us too. Anyway, on the 2nd, we have our second eclipse pattern of the year. So we're getting 3 different eclipse sections this year. That's holy moly. So we have a total solar eclipse, new moon in Cancer, 10 degrees. The most important thing I feel for this energy is to allow the feelings to come through. Realize eclipses do bring downloads of information. So definitely through the eclipse corridor, through the 2nd eclipse, and even beyond, there may be information that comes to you pertaining to how Cancer is activated in your personal chart, where it is in your personal chart. So be very aware of that. But the thing I think everybody needs to be aware of is this is a time of releasing that pattern of being so beholden to authority outside of ourselves. And I've been speaking of this over and over again, but that's because it's so important to return to things that nurture us, and to return to nurturing each other and having that compassion, you know, bringing that watery softness to each other. That's an important thing. Can you guys hear me? I just saw a thing. Hey Mimi, where are you? Hopefully you can hear me. I'm off camera because I can only use my phone right now, and that's a pain in the butt. So, thank you. You can hear me. Okay, thank you. Good. So then just keep listening. I'm going to sit off camera, but you can see this delightful creature who is sitting here, right here with me. Okay. So anyway, really important to nurture yourself through this energy. One of the keys, and that's Padma, by the way, the little doggy that we're watching right now. Not so little doggy that we're watching right now. Key, mother energy. There's a lot of ancestral energy moving through with these eclipses. This first eclipse be very aware of ancestral patterns that you can potentially break coming from the maternal side. Now, that could be your father's mother, your mother's mother, your mother's father. Just be very aware of these patterns that are moving through. And again, can you choose the nurturing? Can you choose yourself? Can you honor your worth? This eclipse at 10 degrees, that 10-degree energy is for you to know your worth and then show up accordingly. So that's the most important thing with that. The ancestral stuff, like sometimes we're aware of it, sometimes we're unaware of it. We do carry those patterns from our parents, parents, and so on. And that can be really intense to process sometimes, because it's like, I have this feel in me and I don't know where it comes from. I honestly got myself hypnotized multiple times trying to find the root of some of these energies that I've carried within. I was like, did something happen to me when I was a child and I have blocked it out? And I could never find anything, and I didn't know why. And it wasn't until I just accepted that I was carrying my mom's stuff and my grandmother's stuff, and then it was so much easier to process. So I'm taking out the middleman. Unless you feel called to get hypnotized, you don't need to. Realize you're processing this stuff, and some of it you are also free to release and let go of. So that may be part of the cleansing of this energy, you know, like, okay, I understand these are the lessons. I'm not going to follow that pattern. We so unconsciously follow our parents' patterns. Because of this ancestral energy, I was doing research about my dad, and I like literally see how he followed his father's pattern almost exactly. It's crazy, and I'm sure it was very unconscious. So we very unconsciously will follow those patterns, but we're free to release them and not carry them anymore. And I believe these eclipse patterns are a big part of this. So do that with that eclipse. I do want to note, after the eclipse on the 2nd, we are in the eclipse corridor. And you can see here my little list. I have a nice little list of the astro that's going on in between there. There's a lot of stuff coming up. That eclipse corridor may even feel more intense than the eclipse. Generally, the eclipse corridors bring a lot of intensity as the lessons are implemented. So between July 2nd and the 2nd eclipse on the 16th, be very aware of that eclipse corridor energy, you know, and tune in. How are you being called to show up? And again, not fall into those patterns. As of the 3rd, we have Venus moving into Cancer. So again, worth and beauty meets Cancer. Oh my gosh. This is a double down on the nurturing, and that will help sustain you and support you through this energy. So we've got Mars in Leo and then Venus into Cancer. So with Mars in Leo, it's like, take time for play, and Venus in Cancer is like, and then come home and take a bubble bath. Do things that support your physical body, your soul, your spirit. Do those things that enrich you. You know, being alive is sometimes a challenge, but we can do kind things for ourselves. And Venus in Cancer is asking us to have compassion for everybody, you know, but especially to nurture ourselves so that we can show up from that full cupped place, you know. Again, I'm going to show you this card too, the Patience card. Be the mother for yourself and realize that you may be called to show up in this role for others, to have that patience, because I think a lot of unhealed energies are going to be rising to the surface, especially with some of these eclipses coming up that we're going to dig into in a second, and that could stretch us kind of thin in regards to the patience process. So speaking of retrogrades, on the 7th we have Mercury going retrograde. So we've been in the shadow. One of the reasons why I'm on camera like this right now, because I can't go live on YouTube with my computer for some reason, and I'm not going to fight with that right now. So Mercury retrograde through July 31st, and it's retrograding back to 23 degrees Cancer. It is going back into Cancer on the 19th. So Mercury starts in the Leo energy. So it's definitely going to be bringing up some of that inner child stuff. This may be some stuff that you've forgotten. There may be some patterns that you enacted as a child that were actually not yours, that were some of your family's things. And so I feel like this Mercury retrograde. It begins in Leo. So you can recognize those patterns that may have shown up as a child and see where you may be still carrying them now. And then as Mercury goes back into Cancer, it's like, okay, and how are you being called to process these? How are you being called to emotionally, like, forgive? I can't say forget, because I think we want to remember so that we don't follow those patterns anymore, but forgive and release. It is release time on a major level. So that Mercury retrograde is going to help process that. You may find old wounds, old hurts coming up. People from your past may surface. You know, a lot of times Mercury retrograde will bring that. Mercury retrograde always brings technology issues. Oh my God, watch out for your washing machines and your dishwashers and any washing things that use water. Watch them closely so nothing happens with that. And I would say too, as it starts in Leo but then retrogrades back into Cancer, again, this is such a good time to connect to water energy, even just taking a trip to a local lake or river or ocean, and like giving any energy you're ready to release back to Mama Earth, back to the waters of the earth to be cleansed, purified, and transmuted. That'll be really powerful. All right, next up is Chiron going retrograde. Okay, so let's just check this really quick. So with Chiron going retrograde, we will have, hold on, grabbing my little notebook so I can remember everything. We will have Neptune retrograde, we will have Saturn retrograde, we will have Jupiter retrograde, we will have Mercury retrograde, and now Chiron retrograde as well. Plus Ceres is retrograde too. Ceres is the dwarf planet. And Pluto, I didn't mention Pluto. So holy cow, this is a lot of retrograde energy. Retrograde energy is nothing to be afraid of, but it is a call to turn within. So with all of these energies pressing us right now, within is the answer. You will find, you know, there's always guidance outside. You know, there's a number of wonderful astrologers. There's me. And I think that's helpful to get outside reassurance and even information. But at the same time, the answers that you need, they are within at the same time. So keep being willing to turn within, and please listen to your own guidance and your own intuition above anything else, you know, above anything I or anybody else says, because there's a reason why things are coming up for you, you know, and specific people have specific things going on that need specific information. That's part of that Chiron energy. Chiron in Aries, Chiron is the wounded healer, and we all have wounds and we all have the ability to heal them. Maybe not necessarily completely by ourselves, but what you need is coded within you to heal you. So just be very aware of that through this. Chiron in Aries also reminds you of the power of your I am energy. So Chiron in Aries is saying, hey, dig deep within, because again, everything you need, the universe is coded within you, and that will support you. One of the things I noted is that we may feel some ego stuff flaring, and this definitely could be part of the Chiron in Aries retrograde. You know, Chiron in Aries definitely can bring up that ego energy, and again, it's very fiery. Patience is needed. You know, when it comes to identity and all that stuff, we can get it's very personal. You know, these identities we've worn, whether they're true to us or not, it becomes a very personal thing. These wounds are very personal around our I am. Many of us have been told, don't be like that, do be like this. And those don'ts and do's have pushed and pulled us so that we're not completely honoring that I am energy. Chiron is going all the way back to 1 degree in with its retrograde, 1 degree Aries through December 12th. And so we may feel those places where we've been told you're too loud, you're too much, you're not enough, all of those things that society likes to tell us. This is a opportunity to take your authority back around who you are and keep tuning in deeper. This is who I am, and this is how I'm called to show up. So be very aware of that with that retrograde. And again, this is part of the eclipse corridor, so it's very deep. I also have to say, it's really interesting that the energy that day has Venus in Cancer squaring Chiron. Venus in Cancer, oh my God, loves her comfort zones and also loves her comfort food. Squaring that Chiron, be very aware that about those comfort zones around your I am energy. We also have the Sun in conjunct Jupiter that day, and Mercury conjunct Mars. Oh, fiery egos and, you know, people getting butt hurt if you're not listening to their information. Sorry, Joe and I actually had a fight about this. What did he say? He's like, you don't listen. I'm like, if I did listen, I would be a nun doing this because that's what my family wanted for me. And I, my life, I had a different calling for my life. I feel like there's a lot of that up with that Jupiter retrograde in Sagittarius, like about listening to wisdom outside of ourselves. Be very aware of that. Again, we're coded within. We have ways that we can approach it. Maybe I did not approach it in the best way. I definitely approached it in that fiery, double fire manner. But it's really important that we honor that true path. I do have this adventure card, and this is the Page of Pentacles, and that is about honoring your own path. So be very aware of that in and through that energy. All right. Speaking of fire, next up we have Mars square Uranus. That is on the 11th. Mars in Leo squaring Uranus in Taurus. What I feel with this is an opportunity to go back where your inner child followed a path that was not necessarily of his or her deepest truth. There may be some resistance still there, but you're being called to follow that unique calling within you with that energy. I'm not going to go too deep into a lot of these because I do go into it in the daily scope, but I like to give my patrons and anybody else who's lucky enough to be watching right now a little quick preview. 14th, talk about eclipse corridor energy. The 14th, we have Sun opposite Pluto, and there's going to be a Sun opposite Saturn somewhere in here that I did not put in here. Sun opposite Pluto and Sun opposite Saturn. Again, this is a call to go in the direction where you are nurtured versus what has been established. You have to take your power back around your purpose and why you're here and what you showed up for. You came for a reason, you came with a mission. And I don't want to say it's been completely derailed because it definitely hasn't. And everything that you've gone through is meant to support it. But be very aware of stepping back into your energy. And there will be, with that opposition, it's a little tug of war, it's a little push and pull. And we've got the North Node in Cancer and the South Node in Capricorn. We have the Sun opposite Saturn in Capricorn. We have the Sun opposite Pluto in Capricorn. And then we have the eclipses, which will be the Sun in Cancer, Moon in Capricorn. So that push and pull, we need to find a balance in this energy. And again, where we have learned the lessons from Capricorn, where we've learned those lessons from society, but now are like, this is what nurtures me. This is what's true to my soul calling. If we all could step into our soul calling, step by step, little by little, that will heal the world. All you need to do is your part, okay? So, speaking of that, partial lunar eclipse on the 16th. That is a full moon in Capricorn, partial lunar eclipse. Eclipses bring that change energy. With the partial lunar eclipse, there's always a lot of shadow that comes up. So we'll see a lot of shadow energy around power, a lot of shadow energy around control, shadow energy around authority. And it's one of those things. I was reading an article about gurus. It was by Ram Dass, actually. I don't know if I posted it on Gaia Blooming or not. But he's like, we're all here on this earth learning. Even the so-called teachers, and there's nobody who's perfect, and there's nobody who's got it all figured out, and there's nobody who doesn't screw it up from time to time, and we have to remember that. We don't need to put anybody on a pedestal. We can learn from people. They are teachers, but I don't know if there are true gurus at this time in the world, or even if there needs to be. I think we put our trust in the guru instead of in our soul, and we're being called to put our trust in the soul. That is so important. We put our trust in gurus. Joe, you're pointing at me because that's good, yeah?
One of my favorite things, if I may.
You talk, come here so you can talk. Joe, speak louder. He's gonna peek in the window, cute.
One thing.
Speak
Hello.
louder.
Hello.
Louder, I can't hear you. Come here.
Hello, everybody.
Cute. Say it.
Is that I believe that there's only one person that you should worship, and that is Spirit.
Mm.
Even Jesus says in the Course in Miracles, you don't even need to worship me. We are all equals.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
know, some people are on a different, it's not a race to the finish line. We're
Right.
all one unit. And when you
Yes.
think of that, worshiping, putting someone up on a pedestal is like an incorrect way of understanding spirituality.
And undermining ourselves as
Yeah.
well, and so I think that's a really important thing to remember with this eclipse.
We're all complete.
Yes.
You just got to remember that.
We are all encoded with the information, yeah.
I'm
And
gonna take these wild beasts for
yeah, take the wild
Okay.
beasts. Sorry, baby. All right.
Oh, shoot, I almost fell through the... Yeah, I'm getting pulled like crazy.
We're minding our dogs, neighbors' dogs. Okay, anyways, an important thing to remember, and this is part of the society thing, we've been encoded to follow authority and put this authority outside of ourselves. And so with this partial lunar eclipse, we're seeing the shadow around authority. We're seeing the shadow around gurus, because we're meant to realize that they are people, and we are meant to step into our own personal authority. So remember that. There also may be stuff coming up around the paternal line. Now, interestingly, Venus, on the day of the eclipse, the partial lunar eclipse, the 16th, Venus is having two interactions, an opposition with Saturn, and Venus is also in conjunct Jupiter. So Venus is being pushed and pulled a little bit. So Venus is like, I have to hold my own. The yin is so important. And if any of you guys follow my Facebook page, I posted a post from my friend Tanya, who's really into Mayan astrology. She's amazing. About how we're finishing up 13 years of this really strong yin influx. And now we're moving into a time of alchemy and magic. And I really feel that. So like the yin has remembered her strength. And now the yin is wanting to work with the yang and create alchemy. Yin and yang together is what creates the alchemy. It's not the yang by itself. It's not the yin by itself. It's the yin and the yang together. So this is really, really important energy that's moving through. But Venus needs to stand her ground as part of that eclipse. So it's standing ground in regards to nurturing and feelings and compassion and the importance of it. Oh my God, this cute thing just came over to purr with me. She's so purry and sweet. Okay, so that's a really important energy that's moving through with that partial lunar eclipse as well. So be very aware of the shadows, where you even may cast a shadow on your yin, cast a shadow on your vulnerability, cast a shadow on your feelings. I mean, so many of us are afraid to cry, and yet there's power in the crying, and there's power in allowing that to move through. It detoxes you. It literally detoxes you when you cry. So this is important. It's important. It's an important part of being human. And I think that's, again, part of the balance of the yin and the yang, to allow yourself to be human. All right, let's keep moving through July because, oh my God, so much. On the 19th, we have Mercury back into Cancer. So at the beginning, I talked about Mercury in Cancer. Again, wounds may surface. It will be a good time to cry. The eclipses will be over, but like I said, eclipses are these downloads. So we will be still unpacking some of the downloads from them moving through. So be very aware between the 19th and Mercury going direct on the 31st, and then even as it moves through Cancer beyond, which I don't have that date written down, we will be processing on that emotional level. All right, let's see, what's next? The 21st, oof, Venus opposite Pluto and the Sun conjunct Mercury. Again, bringing the power back to the yin, bringing even authority back to the yin. One of the things that I'm feeling with this is the authority of your feelings, the authority of your intuition. How many times have you been told that you were crazy for what you were feeling, and then you found out that what you were feeling wasn't wrong, that there was truth in that? You know, I had a wonderful Cancer friend the other day say something like, I feel like this is going to happen. And she's like, I don't know, maybe I'm just crazy. And then ding dong, it happens, you know? This happens all the time. We are so tuned in. There's nothing that we're truly disconnected from. We may disconnect ourselves through things, but the connection like abilities is all in us. So take back that authority within yourself, that yin authority of your intuition, of your giftedness. All right, so moving on. The 22nd, hey, Sun into Leo on the 22nd. It is late on the 22nd, 7:50 p.m. Hopefully this will be a return to love. We had all of those Leo eclipses, so hopefully we've gotten that Leo lesson. We will honor the inner child. We will honor our creativity. We will honor love and that heart consciousness. We'll go more into that with the daily horoscope when that comes. Let's see. What else feels important in here? Venus moving into Leo on the 27th. So that'll be really nice too. Venus into Leo. But until Venus moves into Leo, serious. You know, it's such an important thing, the building blocks. That Cancer building block before Leo. I really look at Cancer as the mother energy, but also as the infant energy. How do you need to nurture yourself so you can show up as that confident inner child, confident in your ability, your artisticness, in your creativity? So Venus moving into Leo wants us to be confident in those gifts that we have and ready to express ourselves. Think Madonna, who's like, yes, I will show you everything. You know, think that energy, but we need to be confident first, which means taking care of that infant, taking care of the parts of ourselves that need to be coddled and nurtured and picked up when they're crying. Let's see, what else in here? I think that's good for July, besides Mercury going direct on the 31st, as well as a new moon in Leo, 8 degrees. What are you manifesting? On the 31st, that's going to be a profound day for sure, with Mercury direct and new moon in Leo, 8 degrees. 8 is that degree of responsibility, but it is such a super manifesty energy too, if you are responding and aligned with your soul. And what, I love this. I forget, it's Maya's quote, but basically, you know, when you're full of joy, when you're in that joy energy, that's your soul. And that's what Leo wants us to embody, is that joy energy. Return to that level of light because you have that in you. Again, we are all coded with these things. So it's just a matter of turning back to them. So the overview cards that I have for July. The first one is patience. Oh no. Why can I not be seen? Am I still on here? It's so weird that it's not showing up. I wonder if I was, hold on. I'm gonna do a risky thing. Let's see, does it show now? No, oh no, okay. Well, the first is the patience card. Am I on here? I mean, it still looks like it's recording. Anybody? Got 12 people in here. So, adventure card. So going your own way, honoring your own path with patience, and then the friendliness card. And the friendliness card, I feel like it talks about like, I mean, it's a card of love beginning, but like self-love beginning. You can hear me. Yeah, I think the video is frozen. Again, Mercury is going retrograde. We are in the shadow, so yeah, okay, well, technology. I still want to go through sign by sign for Cancer. And again, take this with a grain of salt because everything that I talked about with the eclipses is what I feel like is most important. But bring your nurturing energy, that Cancer energy, the compassion to whatever houses these energies are in, and listen for your sun sign and rising sign. So Cancer, obviously Sun in Cancer is your first house. So it's really working that I am and embracing the softness of yourself, embracing your feeling superpower, and nurturing yourself. Cancer has a tendency to take care of everybody else before themselves. So this is a call to love on yourself first. Gemini, Cancer is your second house. So Yeah, video issues, serious video issues. Cancer is your second house for Gemini. So this is about nurturing your creativity, nurturing your talents, nurture your money a little bit. Take some looks into your finances. You know, are they moving in the direction that you would like? This is a time to baby your finances. I literally had an image of a Gemini like wrapping up like $100 bill in a little swaddle blanket and be like, I love you, thank you for supporting me in this world process. All right. Let's see. Going backwards. Taurus. Cancer is your third house. Third house is the house of communication. Tauruses, you know, Sagittarius gets a reputation for being blunt, but as far as I know, Tauruses are the bluntest people I have ever met. I would say this is an opportunity to be very compassionate with your communication, be nurturing, and I would say also not just to others, but be nurturing and compassionate towards yourself in communication through this month. Let's see, Aries. Cancer is your fourth house. Aries, this is your month to slow down and take it easy. Again, nurturing yourself. Aries is usually go, 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 go. Spend some time at home. This is a great time for some redirecting or redecorating. Redecorating your home. This could even be a time to move, but hopefully you're taking it easy. Rest. Cry, feel. Take the time to cry and feel, Aries. Sometimes that can be challenging for the Aries energy, but we all have those feelings in there. And you having Cancer as your fourth house, it's very necessary that you do stop and feel, because otherwise it's going to come out like a volcano in the future. Let's see, Pisces energy. Cancer is your fifth house. So with Sun in Cancer, you do want to take the time to play. And Pisces, I see you like splashing around in rivers and lakes and oceans. Go to the water to support yourself and to support any cleansing. You know, Pisces is notorious for taking on so much karmic energy, and the water is just so cleansing. And if all else fails, baths at home and showers, but bring your rubber ducky so that your inner child feels supported through that cleansing energy. Next up, Aquarius. Cancer is your sixth house. Again, I get the feeling with Aquarius, sometimes Aquarius can compartmentalize and be so stoic or even busy thinking that it doesn't necessarily stop to feel. This is a call to stop and feel through your body. This is a great month for massages, energy work, anything that works the physical body. Sixth house is the house of your daily reality, and I always say our body is our daily reality antenna, so it picks up everything. And if we're compartmentalizing, that means we're putting away in a pocket for later, and later has come and it needs to be processed, and that's part of the eclipses. But I highly encourage you to get some actual body work done for your physical nature. Also listen to your body. What is your body asking for? I don't want to say what are you craving per se, because it's not necessarily always about cravings, but your body, I feel like, is asking for something specific to nurture it. Listen to that. Let's see, Capricorn, seventh house. Whew, Capricorn, you guys are getting hit with lots of energies and the second eclipse. Relationship is the seventh house. Be aware of relationships in your life. Which ones nurture you? Which ones nurture your own personal sense of autonomy and authority? I would also be aware of any codependence that may be coming up, and see where you can create healthy boundaries around any codependence in order to support your own personal nurturing in relationship, you nurturing yourself in relationship. Capricorn's the other that will take care of so many others and, you know, sometimes not necessarily take care of themselves. This is a call for yourself in relationship with yourself to care for yourself. That was a lot of yourselves in one sentence. Okay, any video yet? No, okay. Next up, Sagittarius. Oof. Cancer is the eighth house for Sagittarius. I would say Sagittarius, be very aware. There may be a lot of energy coming up for you. Shadow energy. Power plays moving through. I almost feel like look again to your early beginnings and see where you may have given your power away. And this may be a call for that empowerment and transformation by looking to those early beginnings and taking it back now to be empowered now, if that makes any sense. Be very aware of dark thoughts moving through. This will pass, and hopefully that Leo energy will help support you in your sagginess. But again, Sagittarius, you can't avoid the pain and you can't avoid the shadows, nor should you. You know, your empowerment is in moving through those, and you will be able to help others after you move through it yourself. So be aware of that with that 8th house energy. Scorpio, Cancer is your 9th house. Higher wisdom, higher learning, travel. Oh my gosh, it's a really good time of the year to travel. So Scorpio, if that is nurturing to you, come out of your Scorpion cave and spend some time exploring the world. And if you can't actually travel, spend some time reading books that nurture your soul, maybe trying a new restaurant, trying new things that basically expand your horizons, that feel nurturing. I mean, that's the key for all of this. What feels nurturing to you? But definitely trying new things for the Scorpio. Libra is up next. Libra, this is your 10th house. 10th house energy in Cancer. Libras are some of the most nurturing people that I know, so it makes sense that your 10th house is Cancer. Same message that I gave to somebody else applies to you. Make sure that you're spending time nurturing yourself. Some of my best friends are Libras, and oh my God, they are the best mamas. But the taking care of themselves often comes second. You can only serve from that full cup. So make sure that your cup is full. Make sure that you're taking some time for yourself. This is also a time to connect in. Is there some purpose energy knocking at your door? Because it should be, because you have a purpose beyond caring for everybody else. And so be listening through this, be listening through these eclipse downloads, that you may get at least a little glimpse of some of the more that the universe is asking you to step up into. Virgo, for you, Cancer is your 11th house. So Virgo, you are being called to hold the nurturing vibration, which can be really good. I mean, Virgos, when I think of Virgos, the first person I think of, besides Joe, who's Virgo rising, is my nephew, who's a little Virgo, and he's literally one of the most kind, nurturing, not so little boys. He's taller than me now. When at my dad's funeral, none of my siblings were crying because, New York upbringing, you don't do that. But I was, because I feel like I'm the emotional processor for the family. And he wrapped his arms around me. He took care of me. He made sure that I was being nurtured. With this month, Virgo, it is up to you to hold the vibration of nurturing. So that means nurturing yourself, nurturing others, nurturing vibrations that do nurture. Carry that energy, carry that vibration to help remind others of it through your doing. That's one of the things about Aquarius energy. Aquarius can be so good at the concepts, but the glyph of Aquarius is those two wavy lines, and it's like as above, so below. Bring it to the physical. And we teach by doing. So any of you Virgos risings, nurture. And I have to say again about Joe, oh my God, with this little kitty we have and the other animals and our other cats, that we have and had, he is the most nurturing person, and it's really beautiful to see. And that's the enlightened masculine who can be very nurturing like that. So bring that forward. Leo, finishing up. Whew, Leo, this is your 12th house. 12th house is a time of surrender. It is a time of rest. It is a time of deeply processing karmic energies. So Leo, take it easy. Again, it's important to nurture the inner infant so that you can be the bright, sunny, ready to express inner child. What does your inner infant need at this time? How does it need to be enabled is the word that's coming through. And this means you have to show up as parent and infant. So what can you do to show up for yourself at this time that is so deeply, surrendery and flowy. And it's always important to note with 12th house energy, a lot of unknown stuff. It can be very karmic, especially with these eclipses. I know Leo's been through so much with the eclipses in their sign the last couple years, but this is still, we have a lot of unraveling to do from many generations. So Leo, show up for yourself, surrender, and realize it will pass. And again, I think Mars moving in will definitely be a support if you can maintain that patience energy. So that is it for this. I was going to do more. I was going to pull cards, but because my camera is being wonky, I'm not going to. Thank you, everybody that watched. This is generally just for patrons, but because of crazy Mercury retrograde things, whoever else got to watch. That's pretty cool. Come join if you are interested in that. So besides all of this, I'm going to sign off like I always do. Take a second. What are you grateful for? And besides that, the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you, and you do have the power. And please remember that through all of these transits, you do have the power and the ability to move with yourself through any and all of the challenges. Namaste. Thank you guys for joining me.